Alright, should be live. I think I have it set public this time, so it should immediately be live. Just waiting to check. YouTube is doing a funny step loading thing for me, so give me a moment. I don't. My internet just must be dying. I don't even know. I'm just trying to make sure the stream's working. There it goes. Alright. So the stream seems to be working. I'm gonna share it and then I'll get started. Hopefully this time I can get a lot more done. Last time was what I'd call suboptimal. Alright. I have shared the stream. Time to make stuff. So where I'm at right now is inventory and guns. I'll start with the game so you can see what I've got. I need to do some netcode for showing the weapons. So if you look, I have a revolver right now and it can spin around as I'm aiming. And I can switch off of it and it goes away. I can also switch my inventory mode to the building and mining mode, but this is the combat mode, which is my main focus right now. Oh, I also added more UI stuff for the jumps than there was yesterday. Anyways, so the problem here is that the whole gun aiming thing is not visible if I connect with another account and the other account is holding a weapon. I won't see it. So I have to add the netcode for that, which shouldn't be too hard in theory. I'm gonna start out by making it choppy and just send it with the positional data for the players, but after that I need to add interpolation so that it looks smooth. What is this game? It's an MMO. Alright, so I'm gonna close all my folders here because this is a few too many. I keep getting lost. I don't need to see all of this. Alright, so I'm gonna go over to networking, and I believe right here is what I'm looking for. This is the positional updates. All I gotta do is add positional data for the weapon. I'm going to actually extend this out so I can see what I'm doing a bit better. That maybe. And then right here, this can be indented. There we go. And that can go like that. So this is the positional information I'm sending. It says the position, previous motion, the action ID, and now I'm about to add the weapon rotation. And also the weapon ID, I guess. So for this, I gotta do, I believe, self.nd entities.player. Ooh, actually, I might have to pull it from the inventory. One moment. If I go to entities, custom player, so I have target and weapon. Oh, this does return the weapon. Okay, cool. Dot weapon. Hold on. I think I have to do that. And then I do the ID if it exists, else none. And then that's the ID of the weapon. I need to tell it basically where I'm aiming. So for that, I'm going to take the target information, which is self.nd entities. Oh, I missed a comma up here. player.target. So this target information is just where I'm aiming in the world, and I can use that for other stuff. Alright, so I'm gonna have to check the server code to make sure it'll be fine with this. I don't think there's really restrictions on the data that's sent for the positional information. I think it just takes whatever it gets, which is potentially an issue that I would need to fix for security purposes later, but for the time being it's fine. Where is it? So there's like position or something. Here it is. Log position, payload P. So that's player. Log position here. Position data. It just adds it. So I think I get the same data back. So I'm going to assume that works as intended, and I'm already gonna get the player data for other players here. I'm gonna go over to the other player entity here. So I need to import the target into here, and I need to get the weapon here. So for this, I believe I can go over to client API data, and in this position log, actually I want to see where it's getting its positions here. How is this working? I don't know. Maybe it's an update here? Update. Ooh. Yes. Okay, here's the stuff. Okay. Self.nd entity entities. The entity map entity 0 dot let's do. Alright, let's switch the weapon from a property function to just an actual property. So weapon equals none. There we go. And then over here I can do weapon equals, and I believe literally just take the 5th value, and that's that. Wait, is it really just the 5th? Oh yeah, that makes sense. I got used to dealing with 3 coordinates instead of 2. I did a few too many things in 3D, so this also has a target, so I can take that target and ooh, did I splat it? I might have forgotten to splat it. So over, where did I put it? Right here. This needs to be splatted because it's 2 points. So this is ooh, how do I index this? This is, I guess 5, 7 is how that works. I think that should be the, well, let's see. So if you do 1, you get the first value, right? I'm gonna check this because I don't remember how this works. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's take L5, 7. So that gives me 6, 7, which is wait, hold up. By index, I need 6 and 7. That's not by index, though. Is it really 4, 5? Hold up. Hold on. I'm just gonna parse this whole thing. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's take. So the starting position would have been like that, 0, 1, and then we get L 2, 4, which is 2, 3, and then we get L 4, which is 4, L 5, which is 5, L 5, 7, which is 5, 6. So actually I need 6, 7 here. Or no, 6.8. There we go. And then, now that we have our target, I think that should be everything. Let me just check this, make sure this is working properly. So this inherits from humanoid, which means going over to humanoid, it takes the weapon and it gets the angle from the target. So that should be good. I do need to send over the new netcode though for the server. So I got to pull PowerShell and send stuff. So CD desktop active in Cavers, and then scp-r server to my website. I'm trying to remember the exact folder here. That should do it. Oh, I didn't change the server. Actually, that should be fine. Did I? I mean, Git will tell me. Yeah, I didn't change anything, so I should be good. I'm gonna start the game first, and then if this runs fine, I'll start the other client and see if that's working. Ooh, already crashed. Hold on. Ah, I lost internet from my... I lost my connection to my server, so it's shut down. That was not a code issue as far as I know. I need to start this in a TMUX at some point here so it doesn't just die on me like that. Oh, yikes. I think that is strange. So it thinks the server's still running somehow? Alright. So I can't show you guys this because I don't want to pull up some sensitive server data. But I'm trying to fix an issue where the server thinks the server's already running and I need to find whatever process it is and kill it. But I don't want to kill everything here, so let's see if I can find it. So what ps-aux grep Python. I'm very confused because I'm looking at the list of my processes, and there's nothing that should be using this port. Yeah, you can't have two applications running on the same port. This is... Oh, it's going now. I don't know why it took so long to die before. That was strange. Anyways. Should be able to connect now. I'll read chat in a moment. Alright, it connected. Cool. And no crashes, which is good. Alright, reading chat. How long have you been working on this game? Technically since March, but only like 30 hours because I took a long break. Vagrant is not an MMO. It's a different game. Is game development my main job now? Whoa. Did someone else just... I think someone else just tried to connect. Let me see, does it say... Yeah, that was a different user ID. Someone else just tried to connect. So, anyways... Oh, they crashed me because... they didn't have the positional data I needed. So they crashed me, whoever just tried to connect. So I got an index error because over on... Okay, I think that's 804 again. I think that was 804. I'm gonna do if len this is less than or is greater than or equal to, so I need up to 5, 6, 7. Is it 8? Wait, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So hopefully now that shouldn't crash me. All right, let's see if that should be fine, maybe. All right, back to reading chat. Am I making more tutorials? Yes. I don't have a strict schedule for it though, so it's whenever I feel like it. Do I ever use Google to find code or something I don't know how to implement? For Python, not really. Like, yep, there's 804 and I didn't crash, which is cool. He can't see my weapon though. He's on an old version of the game. He doesn't even have weapons. Well, let's see. I could actually push my changes so that he could download them if I wanted. But, yeah. But yeah, so I don't think I've had to Google anything for this game so far. Like, not that I can think of. Oh, I did have to look up some Pygame vector stuff, because, I forgot some stuff. 804 just logged in twice. That's interesting. Anyway. Have I used PyMonk with Pygame? Yes, I have. I have a GIF in my Discord where I did it. And I think, in my 2021 Pygame projects video, I showed something where I was using PyMonk. So I've messed around with it. What library am I using for networking? Just sockets. I wrote my own thing on top of that. Alright. What add-on modules? What do you mean, packages am I using? I pretty much just use script for running things, and then tab 9. Yeah, so, well, I don't think I said I didn't use Pygame sprites because I didn't know they existed. I think I didn't use them because I knew they existed, but I just never learned to use them, and it's just a habit now. I don't see a reason to use them. Yeah. Alright. Okay. I'm going to try and pull up my other client here and see if I can see the weapon. So for this, I have to go over to my dev start thing, swap to my other user here, pull up a command prompt, and then active. Okay, py dev start. Nope. Start.py. See if I crash. I wouldn't be surprised if I crash here. Ah. What? I am confused. I am very confused. Oh. I see what happened. So, right about here, this needs to be ID that, because funny stuff happened. It was expecting it to be a dictionary with a value ID in it. It was a full weapon object it was expecting. So I'm gonna start up that thing again. Is it this one, or is it? I think it's this one. And it crashed again. Cool. Key error 1. What? Key error? That implies that it's a dictionary. How did that happen? Hold on. So, in humanoid, we have target equals self.target. And the target is coming from here, which is modified in the networking right here. Wait, no. Here. Oh, I'm stupid. Hold on. I did this backwards. This goes over here. And then the target stays the way it was. Alright. So this will actually crash my other one anyway, so I'm gonna stop that too. So start it there. I'll read chat once I get this working. Oh, I need to switch this to 0 again. And then hopefully that'll fix it. We shall see. Nope, did not work. Crashed my other one. Key error, none. Did I not write that so that it checks to make sure there is a weapon? Oh, I know what happened. Here we, so right around here, this needs to be if this is even defined, otherwise it's just none. Because it doesn't expect a nested none, it expects if there is no weapons, you just have a straight up none. Alright. I'm gonna run this. And then this needs to be a 1. And then I run the other one. Didn't crash. Oh yes, I can see it. Alright, so I have 2 windows here. You can't see that I have 2 windows, but it works. There is a latency to it, but I don't even think I need. I don't think I need interpolation. Hold on, let me click on the other one so you guys can see. It's actually pretty smooth. So it, like, if I just slowly move my mouse up and down, it's smooth enough because I think it sends stuff 20 times a second. It only it updates every 3rd frame, essentially at 60 FPS. So I guess the rotation is slow enough in most cases where you can't really tell. Like, I'm spinning in a circle, just looking at it, it looks fine. So I'm not going to bother with interpolation right now. Whatever benefit that gives me is so small, it's not really worth thinking about. Also, the thing about interpolation is that once you add it, there's kind of oh wait, you know what? I bet you this is already interpolated. I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, no, probably not. I'm not sure. It could be either. But I mean, it looks really smooth. But yeah, the thing with interpolation is that to interpolate, you need a previous sample and a new sample, and you need to be somewhere in between them. You can't be on the latest data. So if you want something to be responsive, you can't interpolate. Yeah, which is interesting. So in order to interpolate, you have to be a little bit behind, by at least a sample. Alright. So Rydog was asking if the networking/server code is included in the Pycharm source code package. Technically, it was accessible to anyone who did the playtest, and I mean the code's still in Discord. People can go look, but you have to dig for it a bit. But I did release this specific thing onto Patreon as well a while back, so the code's also there. That's a bit older though. If I got this to work fully, how would the servers be run? Like, would I buy a web hosting service? I already have 2 servers. One's for my website, and I'm running a server on my website right now. Like, I'm not connected to my own computer. This is going all the way to Georgia, the US state, not country. And then it goes back to my computer. So this is a realistic test. That's how 804 joined earlier. This is running on the actual server. 804, I forgot where he is actually. I might not know where he is, but I think he's a. Oh wait, no, he's got, I think, lower ping than most of the other people had in the playtest. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's like from the US or like Europe or something. But still, 804 is probably a long way away from me. You're looking to add networking, and you've been having trouble serializing objects. Like, you mean converting it so that you can send stuff across? I wouldn't try to convert straight up object. I normally send across things that I'm already representing as JSON. I wouldn't just try to send an entire object across. That's not very efficient. And also, if you're using Pickle, that's a security issue because someone can inject code and give someone else a virus. Yeah, so you need to be setting like JSON or something. JSON's probably about as complex as you can get, and you just go simpler for better performance if you want. You could actually probably build something on top of JSON where you can construct objects based on JSON, but you don't want to do like actual full objects where you can send code across your connection. That's a pretty big security issue. Anyways, how much services like that cost? So I used to pay $5 for the server I have a month. Now it's 10, but I had to upgrade it to 10 for other reasons. I might not be able to port forward. Actually, maybe I can now, but I used to live in an apartment, so I didn't have access to the network configuration in my apartment, so I wouldn't have been able to even port forward it if I wanted to. And before that, I was behind something called a double NAT, which means that you share the same IP address with everyone in your neighborhood, even if you have individual houses. So I couldn't port forward there either. I haven't checked to see if I can port forward here, but if I could, I wouldn't want to. Also, just because I would be doxing myself, sort of. I'd be giving everyone my IP address, which is a bad idea. So yeah, it's nice to have servers. It's just $5 a month or 10 for the upgraded one I got. How long do I stream for? Normally 2 to 4 hours. What am I at right now? About 30 minutes, so I've got a while left. Just reading it again. What am I building? An MMO, kind of. Yeah, so Ride Dog, if you're trying to make an engine for netcode, what you would have to do is have your own, I guess, basic game object class that you can convert in and out of JSON, or I wouldn't convert the whole thing. I would convert the necessary information for networking in and out, but yeah, so you'd convert that and send it. Or actually, if you're making an engine, you wouldn't want to send it in JSON. You'd want to compress it as much as you could. And not only that, but you need to support UDP, which is a pain. So the default socket connections, or the ones that all the tutorials mention, are TCP. And that's what I'm using, because there's less issues that pop up, but it's slower. But if you're making an engine, you'd want to make it UDP, which means there's a potential for your packets to be dropped, which you have to account for. And then the other thing, is that you wouldn't want to be sending like the actual JSON over. You'd actually just want to compress it down into binary if possible, and then you use that to represent changes in your own classes that you provide yourself, and that's probably how you do that. Yeah. You would probably also want to provide a layer where the developer who's using an engine can do networking where they're sending across JSON data. And you would, if you're doing UDP, you'd want to ensure that it actually gets there instead of exposing the problems of UDP to the user. There's a lot of extra stuff you'd want to do if you're wanting to make an engine that supports networking. I don't think there's stuff I don't think that really exists for Python at the moment. Like a game type engine for networking that's actually good. Like, and has their own object types that they've implemented, and they've implemented the netcode for. I think the best there is, and I haven't really looked at this, but this is just kind of an assumption. The best is probably just like basic, like a basic layer, kind of what I have on top of maybe a TCP connection, or maybe UDP if you're lucky. What networker library am I going to use for this? Or what am I? What library am I using for this? It's sockets, and I wrote stuff on top of it. So yes, I am sending the data directly to the server and handling the sockets. Fracking it? I haven't heard of that. Yeah, I'd like to do a series where I teach networking at some point, but I feel like if I haven't done something like this, like released a game that's fairly complex with networking in it, I probably shouldn't be making a tutorial like that, because there's lots of mistakes to be made. And I mean, I'm still running into some random quirks here and there with netcode that I would probably mention if I were to make a tutorial series. So I feel like I don't quite have the full extent of the knowledge I need to make a good tutorial series on that, because I feel like one of the worst things I could do as someone who makes tutorials, and it really irritates me when I am watching a tutorial and I see that this has happened. One of the worst things I could do is make a tutorial for something I don't fully understand. Yeah. Alright. So, the gun rotation is now transferred, so that works. One more thing I do need to do, I need to pull up, or actually, you know what, I don't need to do the rest of the inventory yet. So the idea is that you can press a button and see your full inventory and move stuff around, but I'm actually not going to do that. So I'm going to remove that, and I will move add inventory menu to the bottom here, because that's kind of low priority. I just needed kind of the whole scrolling thing where you can switch your weapons. That was the important part. So the next thing is to add projectiles, and the netcode for this is going to be interesting. So I have a rough idea of how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to send across the timestamp that the projectile was created, and the what is it? The I guess the trajectory, and then from that, every client can calculate where the projectile should be after how much time has passed, which will be interesting. Although this approach has some theoretical issues. For example, if you want a homing missile that's following something, you can't determine its position based on the time that has passed since it was spawned. So this only works with some kinds of projectiles. So specifically, It works best for projectiles that are going like in a straight line at a certain angle, but from a netcode perspective, it works that well. Anyways, I do need to implement a projectiles class for handling this. I'm not sure what I should put this under. Put it under world. I don't think so though. I can make a folder called projectiles, I guess, and then put it in there. And then just go new file, projectiles.py. I could have also put it under entities, but that would have been a bit weird. Ref node super.init, and then from misc ref tree import ref node. Okay. So in here we'll just have self.projectiles. So there's a couple ways I could do this. I could do a list, or I could give each projectile an ID and make it a dictionary. And the reason for that is because if the server says something happened to a specific projectile, I might have to adjust that. Yeah. So I'll take that, and then I do need like an add projectile thing. I'll probably need like a base projectile class, and then I can inherit from that. Or I'm not sure exactly how I should do this. Let's take a. I'm trying to think if there's going to be like so if projectiles follow different paths algorithmically, there's not a whole lot they overlap on, because visually they should all look different as well. So what do they have in common? A position? And if that's all they have in common, should they even inherit from the same class? So because of that, I'm just going to do default projectile, and I will not inherit from anything. So we'll need a position, a rotation, and the spawn time. So position or rotation and spawn time. And then if that's not defined, I will take the current time, because that probably means the current player spawned it. So import time, and then it should also have a projectile ID. Yeah, actually, should that be internal or external? That is the question. I'll take it here. I'll do none, or you know, I'm gonna do a bit of a funny here. Random .randint 0 to 2 to the 32 minus 1. That's a fun number. Alright, self.position equals list position, self.rotation equals rotation, self.spawn time equals spawn time, self.id equals projectile ID. So I can take that information, and I'll add a, oh, I forgot the init function here, oopsie. And then right here, I can do an add projectile. Oh, you know what this needs? Something that the projectile should inherit from. I guess the ID and the source weapon, probably. So, I guess not all of the projectiles have to have source weapons, because, let me think about this. Yeah, so not only the projectiles come from the player who's playing the game here, not the other players that are seen, has to have their projectiles know which gun they came from. let's see. So class projectile definite self. So it should have a position, I'll say, and a spawn time. Actually, they should all have rotations, I would say. It's just the way they use that rotation should be different. And then on top of that, it needs the weapon data. Actually, this is required. Or is it? No, it's not required. Equals none. So this will inherit from projectile. And then I can take args and keyword arguments. And then this stuff goes over here now. And self.weapon data equals weapon data. And that is that. So the behavioral stuff is actually going over here. I don't think I need to add any extra information there, so now that I think about it, I don't need that init function. So I'll have an update function. And I'll have a render function. And I will take this. This is the reference tree for accessing just about everything in the game. Alright, so from here, let's see, let's do, I'm trying to think of how I should do this. I'll do this, projectiles equals, and I'll probably switch this up later if I add more projectiles, default projectile. So projectile type, and then position, rotation, spawn time, projectile ID. Actually, I can take that out of there. This could all reasonably go here. And then weapon data equals none. Alright. And then self.projectiles projectile ID equals projectiles projectile type, oh wait, type, and then we spawn it with the position, rotation, spawn time, projectile ID, weapon data. Something I'll add here is self.alive, and I can set that to false if I want to disappear. So def update self for projectile in self.projectiles.values. Projectile.update. If not, projectile.alive. Self.projectile. So I'm not sure if values is a generator or not. If it's a generator, I might run into a problem where it says change the dictionary size during iteration. But I'm curious to see if that is an issue or not. I've never changed the dictionary size while iterating over its values before, as opposed to just iterating over it normally like this. But we'll see. Projectiles projectile.id. And then for the render function, for projectile in self.projectiles.values, projectile.render. Simple. Alright, so over here, we get the DT equals rt.node window.dt. And then from here, we can calculate the time that's passed since its spawn. Time passed equals dt minus self.spawn time. And from here, we could do a little bit of trig. Self.position equals math.cosine of self.rotation by time passed. Oh, it needs a speed too. So I'll just put that there. I don't know if I'll actually ever use this one, but take args that in super.init self.speed equals 100 or something. It's probably really slow, but we'll find out. Math.sine self.rotation by time passed, and then the other thing you gotta multiply by is self.speed. So I cannot change the speed while it's flying. That would cause problems. Alright. And then from here, I can render it. So the question is, how should I render it? I think the best way is just kind of as a line. So I'll render it from the position and then kind of advance it from there. Do I have an advanced function? I think I do. So GeoUtil, I have advanced, cool. So from data.scripts.mis.geoutil import advanced. Is it? I think it's amount last. Hold on. So angle amount, cool. So end position equals. Let's do advanced self.position.copy, and you want the opposite, or you don't want to take the negative of the angle, you want to take it plus 180 degrees. So self.rotation plus math.pi, and then you need the amount, which is going to be how many pixels long I want this thing to be. Let's make it 5 pixels long, or 6 rather. Pygame.draw.line. Let's do points equals. We'll take self.position 0 minus scroll equals rt.node world dot int scroll, and from scroll here we can go 0 self.position 1 minus scroll 1. I hit page down accidentally, and then we can do the same thing except with end position. And those are our 2 points. So from here we do rt.node window dot display, and we can take our point. Wait, no, not yet. We gotta do color. So for the color, I'm gonna make it white for now. That's just kind of a placeholder. I might add more functionality. I almost definitely will add more functionality to that later. But for now, I'm gonna leave that. 0.1, and I will give it a width of 3. Alright. I don't know if this is correct, but we will find out. So for the time being, I just kind of need to see if this works. So I'm gonna put this under the world, I think. So let's find world, and I'm gonna take from data.scripts.projectiles import projectiles. That needs to be capitalized. Self.projectiles equals projectiles self.register child, and then we have the projectiles, and now we just need to be able to add to them. Actually, we need to update them and render them first. So I think they should be rendered on top of the entities. I can update them after the entities as well. So projectiles update. That's fine. And then render. Should they be in front of or behind the tiles? I say in front, probably. Let's do... lighting, fireflies. Okay, so I think it should go right here. Self.projectiles.render. And then I need to be able to add to them by shooting. So there's a couple ways I can do this. I can put it in the player's code, or I can put it in like the UI code somewhere, but I'm leaning towards the player because I'm gonna have to access the player stuff anyways. So alright, if the input state is game, if rt.node input.pressed left click, I don't know if that's even registered. I'm gonna try and add that to the configuration here. Key mappings. Oh, it is added, cool. Oh yeah, because I used it in the node map to select nodes. So if I left click, then I should attempt to shoot, or no, it should be if I'm holding it, I attempt to shoot. Is that? I don't remember if it was holding exactly. Let's see. Holding, yes, that's correct. So if I'm holding it, then it should attempt to shoot. There should be a rate limit on this. Weapons should have fire rates. Weapon stats.json revolver, and let's go with fire rate 0. Wait, this should be times per second, so let's go with 2 per second for now. Not sure if we're gonna have reloading in this game yet. I'm not gonna worry about that for now. I might add reloading later, or I probably will, but not worrying about that for now. So you fire 2 projectiles per second on the revolver, so once every half second. I do need the weapon configuration. Where should I put this? I guess, I'll take it here. From datascripts.misc.io, import read.json, weapon config equals read.json, is it data/config or is it config? It's data/config. Data/config weapon stats, and then I can import this from the constants in the player. So from data.scripts.misc.constants import weapon config, and then from here self.lastShot equals 0, and then I go over here. If time.time minus self.lastShot is greater than 1 divided by the weapon config for the current weapon, so self.weapon ID fire rate. I also need to make sure I have a weapon, so if self.weapon, then from here I can shoot. So rt.node projectiles add projectile, and this is where there's that mess of arguments I wrote earlier. Where is it? Here we go. Oh, this needs a self too. So I can take all this and we'll drop it in there. Weapon data equals self.weapon. Projectile ID, I don't need to touch that. Spawn time, that's assumed to be right now. Rotation, this will be the weapon rotation. So where can I get that? That's target. Ooh. Do I not have a thing for generating that? Really? Hold on. I'm gonna add that to the humanoid functionality here. So humanoid, let's go and aim angle. Okay. So all I have to do is this is self.aim angle in the position self.center. I'll take a list of that because it needs to be copied. Projectile type will be the weapon ID. Wait, is it? Wait, that might not be correct. I'll read chat once I write this. Okay, it needs to be default. Alright, I'll read chat before seeing if this works. I just wrote a butt ton of code, no clue if it works. Do I know what language would be best for networking? It depends what you're doing. Add a musket. I could add a musket, but I'm just trying to get the basic gun working right now. What does super.init do? It initializes the class that it's inheriting from. If you override the init function, you need to call the parent's init function, otherwise it gets ignored. Because every time you define a function in a class, it overwrites the parent's function if it has the same name. Need speed as well for the projectile class. Did I mess something up? Or did I catch that issue? No, I put it here. Alright. What is rot? Yeah, it's rotation. This ID is Adam. If it doesn't look like idle, it's Adam, because you can't customize idle very much. What do you mean the amount of dependencies? What? Register child is used in my node tree for just kind of registering the relationship between different nodes. It just tells it that the current thing is a child of the parent or whatever. What programming paradigm do you use for building my games? I do a botched object-oriented thing. So you can see a lot of my stuff is objects. Well, almost everything is. But I don't follow the paradigm in terms of the way you're supposed to communicate between your different objects. I threw that out the window and I added a node tree on top of that. Another popular solution aside from node trees, like node trees I think is what Godot uses. Another popular implementation is to use entity component systems, which is kind of similar to a node tree, except it's used for slightly differently. I guess a node tree is a bit more rigid than an entity component system, but yeah. like the standard object-oriented code doesn't mix well with games really. Most of the time people don't really follow that, and if you look at the major game engines, they don't follow that. They use some other implementation with object-oriented code though. Why do I use JSON over just list in another file? I just like to have my data in a JSON file instead of a Python file, because then it's clear that that file's just meant for data and not for code. You can put it in a Py file, which is fine, but yeah. It also lends itself better to manipulation in some cases. Like the importation's a bit simpler, sort of. Once you write the function for it, it's just gonna I have read JSON, and it stores as JSON object instead, or it's like a dictionary and lists and stuff. Whereas in Python, if I want something to work similarly, I'd have to import it, and I'd have to import a variable from the script that has all that data. So the difference there, I guess, would be that in the Python script you'd have, like, for example, your variable name equals, and then you'd have probably a dictionary with all the stuff inside of it. So that variable name equals is extra, and on top of that, you need to know the variable name inside of the file to import it, which makes the importation longer. But yeah, also it's just that it's clear that JSON is just meant for data and not for code. Have I done audio-based change for my avatar? No, I haven't. It's all mouth tracking. I need to work on the way I speak because I don't move my lips a lot when I talk normally. So it looks like my mouth's just kind of hanging open a lot of the time instead of actually adjusting to the way I'm talking. Which is a bit of a problem, and that's why I was considering doing audio-based mouth movement. But I have been getting better at moving my lips when I'm talking. I said the game wouldn't be PvP. Did that change, or are the weapons for PvE? So yeah, the weapons are for PvE. If you look at my to-do list, there's this flying eyes thing, which is going to be the first enemy. You're not going to be able to shoot players. I might do some sort of kind of indirect competition between players in some way or another, but not direct PvP. You guess that I'm some TurboPython senior with 200k USD a year. I mean, I believe in terms of the amount of like how long I've been working with Python, I would be kind of considered a senior developer, which is funny because I'm just 21. But I've been working with it for 9 years, which would be senior in a lot of places. Although, because I don't actually have that much work experience in companies, I would come in as a junior or whatever. So, but like skill-wise, when it comes to Python, I'm closer to a senior developer. And that's what happened at my last job, kind of. So you're saying that I could casually tell you I built a 3D multiplayer shooter, but have you considered that this game is a shooter, and there is 3D in it? Because the node map is 3D. But I'm taking computer graphics class right now, which is pretty much just 3D stuff. So I could write a lot of the 3D, well, theoretically by the end of the semester I should be able to write the graphical part of a 3D engine from scratch, but not the physics. I don't want to think about the physics. I don't like 3D physics or even 2D physics when you're dealing with polygons is not fun. When I start building 3D games, I like Python at the moment. So if I do, I'm doing it in VR, well, for VR, with Godot. And I've messed around with it a bit. I just haven't gotten around to fully learning it. Anyways, back to what I was doing. Time to see if this stuff works. I'm doubting that this will work, but we will see. Nope, time is not defined in player. Why does it need time here? Oh. Because I need to see if I can shoot. Oh, you know what else I need? I need to, I felt that last shot equals time to time. Otherwise, I would have just shot as fast as I could. Every single frame. Which is like, I don't know what it is now, but it used to be like 300. Pygame is not defined. That is in the projectiles. I'm clicking and I don't see anything, which is interesting. Oh, this is wrong. This update code. This needs to be self.spawn position equals self.position to copy. So that will be self.spawn position 0 plus that. And then plus that. And I still don't see anything. Okay, hold on. Let's have it tell me where this is going. So print point self.position. Let's see what's happening here. It should tell me now when I left click. Yikes. Those are some big numbers. I'm not sure how I'm getting these numbers. That's very big. Did I feed it the wrong info? Wait a second. Did I pass in 0 for the spawn time somewhere somehow? That would be funny. Is that negative epoch? I think that's negative epoch. Alright, so how did that happen? Let's see. Oh, this is wrong. This needs to be time to time. Duh. Duh. Hello? I don't know what happened. It's just not responding. I'm gonna restart that and see if it works maybe. It's not like I don't know what happened the other time. It just didn't finish. Interesting. Okay, still nothing. Print points and print time passed and self dot position, I guess. Man, this is being more difficult than normal. What did I get here? Why? Oh, okay, so here's a funny thing with Python. If you do this, this value is calculated when you declare the function. It's not calculated when you call the function. So if I have to put none there, and if not spawn time equals time.time. So it's taking the time since the game started, which means that this also needs to be none, and then I have to define it. If not projectile ID equals that. Alright, let's try that again. There we go, we got a projectile. It disappeared pretty fast. I'm not sure where that went. I'm gonna remove these print statements and observe the behavior. Oh, it just faded out because I can't see the bullet anymore. That's funny. So here's what I need to do. I need to add a glow to these projectiles. So I could actually probably reference... Ooh. Would be the entities? Where did I pull that from? Oh, it's probably in world code, maybe, that I did that. But the projectiles should glow. World. Somewhere in here. Here we go. I need to take that, and then I go to projectiles, and then in the render code, or the update code, either one really. I think the lighting should come after. Self, or rt.node lighting, I think this is, it is its own node, so I can just do that, yeah. And then the light, and I want to take the position. I'm gonna take the front position, so that will be points. That's 0. And then what is this? Okay, for this, let me reference the fireflies. I have a function here that I can use. Where's the lighting? 10 plus cycle timer. Actually, this could be constant. There's no reason it needs to go in, like, between different sizes. That could be 40. So I'll remove cycle timer. And now my bullet should glow. And I should be able to see where I'm shooting. Yeah, cool. They're glowing. So from here, I should make them faster. They need to be quite a bit faster. 250 maybe. And then they need to be able to collide with walls. And I can hold down and just keep shooting. Now if I want to do something funny, I can go over to here and set the fire rate to 100. And then we can get a little party. This is something that's fun to do in all my games. Also, I need to make it so these projectiles disappear. That will be a problem lag-wise if they don't. So they can collide with walls, and they need to disappear based on distance as well. Actually, just like how long they've existed, probably. should be enough, because that is the distance from their origin. Sort of. It's their the you divide by speed and you get the distance. Alright. Is this MMO going to be available on Mac? Not sure about that. I don't have a Mac, so I can't package for a Mac. If I publish the source code, include like the full source code, you can just run it if you install Pygame and everything. Yeah. For any of my games, if it gets really popular, I'll probably maybe pay someone to package for Mac or something, since I don't have one. I think I've had multiple people offer to do it for me for free as well. Add a sword? Nah. Just doing guns for now. When's the next upload? Not sure. Hopefully this weekend. I don't know. Anyways, let's get this projectile to collide with things. So I need to see if it collides with stuff in the world. So I think I should have a function in my tile map to look up a location, see if a tile exists there. So tile map. Let's see here. Load map, load grass, tile filter, right map, get nearby road. Tile collide, here we go. So I can give any position and check if it collides with the map. Yeah, okay. So all I have to do, boop, if rt.node tile map dot, what was the function name? Tile collide self dot position self dot alive equals false, and we should have this working. It crashed. Oh, so it did give that error I was talking about earlier. I was wondering if it created it, I think it does create a generator, and that's the problem. So all I have to do here is switch this to a list. But now I know dot values is a generator, and you can't delete from the original dictionary with the generator because it gets the values as you asked for them. It's the same as a for loop, kind of. Alright. Alright. So you can see the projectiles disappear, which is good. The other thing is, I need to make sure they can't just somehow get out of the map and then go on for forever. So all I have to do here is go. I can do this. Hold on. Def update. So, right here it should super dot update because I want to call the parent function as well, which is this one. And if time.time minus self.spawn time is greater than 10, self.alive equals false. That's just an extra edge case, just in case it gets out of the map, make sure it still gets deleted at some point. So now our projectiles are kind of working. The problem is netcode. Here comes the fun part. I'm gonna do a quick commit though. So, base projectile code. So if I were to start up another game, I wouldn't be able to see the projectiles, so I need to add some way to track that. So I need to send the projectiles to the server, just kind of like their start position and their generic information, I guess. Actually, can I? Should each projectile be its own request? Actually, yes, that does work, because I wrote my code so that I can send batch requests of like 10,000. So I can send pretty much as many requests as I want, and it should be fine. So each projectile I spawn could be its own request to the server to add a projectile. So I will do that. And I guess the server will delete projectiles after maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that. The last 10 seconds of projectile should be fine as long as people aren't shooting too fast. And the server's just storing the data, it's not really computing anything from it for now. So I'm gonna go over to the server code, which is right here. And server, I need a new endpoint, which I'll call @server.endpoint spawn projectile def spawn projectile payload. So it pretty much just takes the data and forwards it to the other clients. I don't really have to think about it too hard. The only thing is the time. Projectile data equals payload projectile. Actually, I'm gonna call it P just to save a little bit on bandwidth, because you have to send that whole string across, which is a bit of extra data. And so in there, well, actually, what do I need to do here? So it does need to know the world actually for the projectile, which just comes from the player's world. So I can do player equals that, and I can grab the ID from world ID. So projectile, or I'll add a projectile manager. So well, projectiles.py class projectiles. So this is going to be very different from the client's projectiles thing. So I'm going to have init self.projectiles equals that, or should be like that kind of. So it should be by world, then by ID. So it's going to be two dictionaries nested inside of each other. So def add projectile data. This will not be converted into projectile object because it doesn't need to be. So self.projectiles projectile data. This should be world equals show you here. Let's do this. World equals that. If world not in projectile data, or no, self.projectiles. Self.projectiles world equals that, and then world projectile data ID equals the projectile data. Def update self. So all I have to do here is just go through all of the projectiles and remove any ones that shouldn't be there. So for world in self.projectiles dot it doesn't need to be like that. For projectile in self.projectiles world, and then this one could be dot values. And if you remember from before, I have to convert this into a list now because otherwise it will give me that size change error. So if projectile dot projectile spawn time, and I'm gonna take time minus that is greater than 10, self.projectiles world dot del that, and projectile ID. that should do that. So def world projectiles self world ID return self.projectiles world if world in self.projectiles else return an empty dictionary. So that should be the information I need. So I call update and it'll call the old data that I don't need. And then the projectiles can be fetched by other players through that. So from here, I do need to actually set up our projectiles equals projectiles, and then I gotta import that. So from projectiles import. Why does it keep not capitalizing that P? It capitalizes everything else. So I have my projectiles. From here, projectiles dot, how did I write it? Add projectile data, and I think that's it. Yep. At server the endpoint, let's do projectiles, so just to find out what ones exist. So get projectiles payload. We gotta grab our player to know what world we're grabbing from. Oh, did I projectile data world equals player dot world, I think. Player tracker player, yeah, it's not world. So return projectiles dot, or what was it? World projectiles player dot world, and that is that. All right. Let's do that. So actually, if you think about this, it should only return projectiles that haven't been seen by that player, which will be something else I need to implement, because you don't want to be requesting projectiles non-stop and sending the full list of hundreds of projectiles constantly. So you only want the new projectiles to be sent to the clients. So I'll have to implement that in a moment. I'll read chat first, though. The tutorial I have for animations is about as simple as it gets. You just have to figure out where you're making a mistake. If my avatar glitched, it's probably because I moved my head too low, like this, maybe? Yeah. Because my webcam's... This is where my head is level with my webcam, so I go down here, it's kind of not visible. Will this be published on Steam when finished? I don't know. So here's the thing, this game, it's not set up to make me money right now, and Steam costs money to put it on. And also the thing is, if I put it on Steam, I'll probably get a lot more players, and the servers may not be set up to support that yet. So it just depends on if people like it, if I finish it, and also if I'm gonna have to consider whether or not it's a good idea financially. Because if I got a ton of players, I have to set up a ton more servers, which costs a lot of money, and I can't do that with a free game. So I would have to find some way to monetize it if people really like it. So, depends. The gun does not look like an AK because you can't see a mag, and you also can't see, like it doesn't have a long barrel. How did I learn? I mean, you can look at my old games. I was not always good at art. I've just been drawing so much from my games over the last 9 years that I've gotten better at it. Have I played Terraria? Yes. Oh, speaking of which, I just noticed my music thing's messed up. Normally I have the music credit on, and I forgot to turn it on, but now you can see it. Cosmetics to monetize? I'm not sure if cosmetics will be enough. It depends. I'll think about it. I'm not gonna seriously consider that type of stuff until people actually like the game, though. Anyways, I need to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. It'll take a moment for my avatar to catch up. Actually, I'll show you guys what happens. Hold on. Let's see how long it takes. So it's glitching out on the side there. There's like a cache of positions and it like plays back at double speed or something after I come back. If I don't see it soon, I might just restart the avatar. Huh. We'll see. It should be able to see me by now. It's a long cache. Yeah, hang on. I'm just gonna restart it. It'll probably be faster. Oh, wait, no, it's coming back. This is not actually in sync yet, so it'll look funny. Oh, look at the way the eyes are moving. That's like legitimate movement though. That's just from a while ago. I'm waiting to see if it catches up here. It should be playing back at like double speed. So it should almost be there maybe. So Yeah, I need to fix this bug. It's annoying because it doesn't line up. It takes like a is it like maybe 2 minutes for the avatar to catch up with the actual data? I'm not exactly sure why it does that. I haven't really looked at it. Let's see. Wait. I think it's a fair amount behind it. I just saw it do the... One of the best ways I can check to see if things are synced is if I do the, sound. And I just saw it do the one I did, like, a minute ago, so I might just restart it. It's got a while to go. Alright, so for this, here's the fun stuff. You guys can see how this works. So I start 2 different scripts, one for tracking and then one for my visual stuff, and then you can actually see what I see. This is what it looks like. Look, it's Pygame. But yeah, I'm gonna put it over here. It should be synced now. That's generally it is once I do that. Yeah, it's synced. Cool. Alright, back to work. So, I wrote these endpoints on the server. Time to do the client side. Or actually, no, I need to make it so they, it only shows the latest info. How should I do this? I guess I can keep track of which ones have been sent to which player. I'm trying to think if that's optimal or not. Or I can clone it so that it goes to every player in the same world. Ooh. I'm seriously thinking about putting the projectile data under the players, and you just look when it sees the projectile, it sends projectile data to every single player. And then whenever the player requests projectiles, yeah, that makes more sense. So right here, all this, bye-bye. Actually, could delete the entire file. Bye bye my 22 lines of code. I don't need that anymore. So I'm gonna go over here, and in here I'm going to do a self.projectile queue. And this will be a list of projectiles that need to be spawned. Yeah. I don't want to send it to dead players though, because then you get a memory leak. I could just like truncate it or something. Yeah, so let's go over here. So when you spawn a projectile, I need to get all the players in the same world. So that is, let's see, there's a way to do that. Same world players. I think these are just IDs though. And I have to grab all those players. So for player, or for P in pt.sameworldplayers, and then player, well, I'll do payload user ID, and then I can do pt.player p, and then that dot, I believe, what was it, projectile queue dot append, and then projectile data, and then if wait, projectile equals only the last 100 or 200, let's say, projectiles. Or wait, no, that's not how you do that. You do it like this. That was the first 200. Wait, no, everything after the first 200 is what I had. So I need the last Wait, no, that's also not right. You do it like that. That's the last 200 projectiles. That's just so they don't flood the memory with projectiles if the player disconnects or something and something goes wrong, or the player doesn't request the information. And then I no longer have to do that. It's added for every single player in the same world. And then when you get this, all you have to do is go projectiles equals player.projectile Q, and player.projectile Q equals an empty list, I believe. Yeah. And then I can just send projectiles like this, and that should be good. I would say it's important to not send the same player their own projectiles, but I'm going to ignore that for now, just because I want to make sure that I'm getting the data properly. So I hit the connection with the projectiles endpoint periodically, so all I have to do for that is what is it? So I have this last calls thing, and I'll put projectiles time.time, and how often should this be called? I can call it with the position probably, or how often do I want to do this? Yeah, I'll do it with the position actually. So I'm going to drop that and I'll call it with the position. So self.client.make request for the projectiles with user ID is self.nd state.user ID, and that should do that. Over on client, wait, where is it? Client API at client.callback projectiles def new projectiles payload src for projectile in payload p reference tree dot node projectiles dot, and I'm gonna reference this code down here. Wait, this is player tracker. I need the actual player. Where's the player? Here we go. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So you add the projectile. Projectile type. I'm gonna do T. I'm gonna shorten these argument names just to save on memory. Projectile P. Projectile A. Weapon data. This does not need to be sent, believe it or not. But what I do need to do is send some other information. So I need the spawn time and the projectile ID. Spawn time equals projectile.s. Actually, didn't I expect, hold on. I think I expected some stuff. Oh, I know it didn't. Never mind. I used to expect a certain name. Wait, does that mean I can just put whatever I want in there? Never mind. So projectile ID. So projectile, what is it spelled as? Projectile ID equals projectile ID. So that's that. In theory, the client should have their times kind of synced, hopefully. So from here, I have to just add it. Actually, as opposed to doing that, print projectile. So TPAS ID, that's the stuff. So when I shoot, that's gonna be the player code. I need to make the networking call for that. So rt.node networking dot, what is it? It's client.make request, and then according to the server, did I close that? I closed that, didn't I? This is it. I need spawn projectile and then all that funny data. Oh, I also need a user ID. Wait. So P and user ID. Hold on. So user ID rt.node state dot, what is it? User ID. And then P. So T, this is the, I already forgot what this one was. T, what was T representing? How did I already forget? Oh, type. So default. Here, I'm gonna expand this a bit, just so that I can see what I'm doing here. And then you just put that there and that there. That's just P, this is a position. So for this, we get the list of self.center. A is the angle. And then we get where TPA TPAS spawn time. So we also need an ID. Wait, what was the ID for? Alright. So that's randomly generated, so I'm gonna actually boy. I'm gonna add something here. So right here I'm gonna do return self.projectiles projectile ID. So hopefully I can make this a little bit more legible. So projectile equals that, and then we have wait. Projectile.type. What? How does this work? Wait a second. It doesn't know its own type. Uh-oh. So for this one, I just had to put default. But for this one, I can do projectile dot position, I believe. Position, rotation. Projectile dot rotation, and then S is projectile dot spawn time, and then was there another field? I don't remember. Let's see. TPAS ID. So the ID projectile dot ID, I believe. And that should be that. So this should call back here, and I should see it printed out once every time I shoot. So let's see if that works. I'll take a look at chat again once I sort this out. And server is down again because I didn't use a Tmux. I'll probably use a Tmux for the next stream so this doesn't happen again. This is a little bit annoying. Alright. There we go. So I'm shooting... Oh, you know why? That's not gonna work yet. I just noticed I have to send the new code to the server. And I sent... no module name projectile. Why did I... Oops. So in the netcode here, this needs to be removed, that needs to be removed, and then we get just that. Alright, now re-upload the data, and restart the server, and let's see if this works. No crash, good. Server didn't like that. Okay. For multiple reasons. What the? This is interesting. It crashed my networking layer, which is unusual. So, did I overwrite the ID? I wouldn't be surprised if I did. Hold on here. Let me go to my client here and print out what I'm sending to the server, because it does not like that. Let's see. I'm gonna print out the request string and see what happened here. I'm guessing I overwrote the ID or something. Oh, that's not right. I need to shoot first before it'll crash. There we go. What did it not like here? That is the question. So I have this information. It didn't like something, it says with the ID. Specifically, so it's in the host, it's line 51 it says. So line 51. It doesn't like that. Something returned none. The endpoints are none. Or... wait, no. The response is none. Oh, okay. I see what happened. I didn't overwrite anything, I don't think. So what happened is... where is it, server? I forgot to return something. Yep, here we go. Return that. If I don't return anything, then it returns none, and then my client gets confused as to how it's supposed to send none. So I gotta re-upload the server code. Alright. So from here, let's try that again. I'll read chat again soon. Oop. I can't see anything because I have too many other things being printed out. Hold on. Don't need that. Alright. I see nothing. Uh-oh. So... I'm not getting anything back. Let's see if I'm making a request at all. Print payload. It's just not getting anything. So presumably, could be a lot of things. Oh, you know what I think it is? I think if you request this players in the same world, it might. Wait, no, I don't know if it excludes the player you're looking for. Hold on, let me see this. So if I go to server and what did I do? Same world players. I did it based on user ID. I think it might exclude that player. Yeah, it removes the existing player, which means that I won't send the data to myself automatically. Which means I have to start 2 versions of this to see if there's anything there. Oh boy. And the chances are probably not going to work first try, so we'll see. Do I have... Yes, I do have this. So I can switch this to 0 and start up the second client here. Waiting for it to load in. Cool. So, here's where I shoot. Yes, it's working. Okay. I'll show you guys what I'm seeing here. So I can see right here. Projectile data coming through. So I can spawn that. And we should get a projectile. Alright, I'll read chat first though. Did I go to a special school to be that good? No, I learned almost everything just self-taught. You could say my special school was being homeschooled, because that meant that I had the time to learn this stuff. Hey, look, a bot. Report. How long has it taken me to make this game? I probably put maybe 30-40 hours into it so far. This is not made with C++. Can you recommend a way to get to the same point as me? Pretty much just keep making stuff, mostly. You're probably not gonna get to this point in like a year, even if you tried. Unless you like no-lifed it and went non-stop. Yeah. I mean, like, you could get to a point where you could work on something like this in a year, but to the extent that I'm familiar with other things as well, that's probably not happening. A lot of it just comes with experience. Yeah. Anyways. Have I done rope physics? Yes, I have. Rope physics are the same as cloth physics. So you can look at my devlog series. I have that. I'm in college studying computer science, but fortunately for me, I had several years of experience before going to college, so my assignments are usually things I'm already familiar with. So I'm mostly just there for the paper. It tells companies that I have a degree. All right. So I need to add these projectiles and see if they actually sync up. So I go here, I have the data here. Here's the moment of truth. And then I have to go over here, swap that. And then start the other one. And then it'll be time to see if these projectiles will work. It's probably gonna crash. Oh, it didn't crash. Are you kidding me? Whoa. Okay, I want to... I'm gonna... Hold on, I'm gonna turn off my... I have an automatic transition thing that I'm gonna turn off real quick so you guys can see what's happening here. Because normally when I click on a window, it like switches the scene so you can see it zoomed in. But look at this. This is going to my server and back, but because I did the mathematical thing based on timestamps, it's like I take the timestamp it was spawned and I just send it across, and if the clients are running at the same time, you should see the exact same position. So if you look, they're almost perfectly in sync. You basically can't tell, but you can see there's a delay in movement, which is funny. So if you look on the left one, the point the bullets are spawning from is actually, I think, slightly... Is it ahead? It's slightly ahead, I think, of where it should be. I don't know. So let's have a little bit of fun here real quick. I'm very happy with that progress. So here's the idea. So I can get it so that the server pre-generates the movements for the enemies, which means that if the enemies are perfectly synced up based on the client's time, and the projectiles are perfectly synced up, then all of the shots should land perfectly and be visually consistent, which is great. Alright. So, under weapon stats, I'm going to have the fun. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna switch this to 0. And I'm going to start the other client and have a little bit of fun here. Load. There it goes. So, I have my two clients here, and I can go here and go wee. Look at that. This is all going through my server in Georgia and all the way back to me. Okay, that's great. That is the progress I wanted to have done today. How long have I been streaming? A bit over 2 hours. Alright. I saw some questions I'll probably get to. Hold on, can I I'm just gonna jump down here. Wait, it's over here. Hello. And this is doing it on the other thing. Oh, it crashed. What? Where is that? I thought I'd switch that to a list. Oh. I forgot the netcode is asynchronous. So if it tries to spawn in a projectile that it got from a response from the server, while it's rendering the projectiles, it changes the size of the projectiles. So I have to call list on that. That's funny. Oh. I wonder... Do I need to put a lock on that? I'm not sure if list is enough. I don't think while it's running list, it would switch to the other task, or maybe it would. I don't know how Python handles built-ins with threading. Will it finish the operation with the built-in before switching to the other task? That is the question. I don't know. Eventually I'll find out. If I see it so crashing when I'm doing list here because the other thing is trying to adjust it at the same time, then yeah, that'll be a problem. So yeah, I'll just have to look out for that crash and see if that happens again. That's a funny asynchronous crash. These are the random types of issues you run into with networking because you have to do the threading. Will this work internationally? Yes, it will. So part of my objective here is to make a game where I don't have to localize the servers to specific regions, because normally you have like a North American server, a European server, an Asian server, South America server, stuff like that. Because my audience is so spread out, I want to make it so that everyone can play on the same server, and I want it to still feel good, which is a bit of a challenge. So I'm having to do some non-standard netcode things to try to make it a good experience for people with 200, 300 ping, which is a bit of a challenge. Can you watch the stream later? Yes, you can. There's a live streams playlist that it goes into. Alright. You have one Python made several projects, but not great ones, like Guess the Word Game, Advanced Blackjack. So you guess an idea is possible. When I was saying 1 year, you would have to be working non-stop, studying and making projects, like 16-hour days probably, or something like that. Because I should have thousands of hours of experience by now. But I mean, you could work on something like this in a reasonable amount of time, but to have the experience and to be able to think through the problems the way I am, you would most likely need more than a year. You could make something similar. It would probably be just like you take longer. Yeah, so with a lot of things, you can actually make the same stuff as someone else who's a lot more advanced. You just probably can't do it as fast. And with as nice of code, you could say, although the nice code thing's a bit funky to nice code's an unclear term, I guess, because you can write code that doesn't look nice because you're working by yourself, which is my case. And I mean, I guess it looks kind of nice. I don't know. It depends. But it's a bit of a mess for someone else to come into, I guess. It's written to make developing easy for myself, and to make it scalable. Yeah, for a lot of things you get that with experience, but you can do the same base project with less experience. It's just slower. Although there is still a fair amount of knowledge that goes into making something like this, which is why you'd still probably need like a year at least of solid effort. You take the challenge? Yeah, let's do the math here. So you do a 16-hour day times 365, you get 5,800 hours, so you should pass me in hours. If you do 16-hour days of learning and working with programming for a whole year, no breaks, you would probably be more experienced than I am. So a lot of the stuff is just the effort you put in. Like you can program for what, 20-30 years and still not be very good because you're not actually putting in that much time. Like for example, if you get a job, you'll run into people that have spent 5 decades or something, or maybe not 5, maybe 3 decades coding, but they're not that great because they just did it for their job, and their job was mostly other tasks like meetings and planning. What other things are there? Maintenance, more on the IT type stuff. You can end up with a lot of experience in terms of like how long in years you've been doing it, but hours is where it counts, so you can catch up pretty quickly if you really put in the effort, but it's a lot to go through. And actually, I think you do get diminishing returns. Like, I think there's studies that have shown that you get diminishing returns when you're studying something and you just do it non-stop. I think there's like just the whole cycle of studying a fair amount and sleeping and committing it to long-term memory and stuff. I think it's less effective the more information you have. So, like, for example, I think it's been found that if you study the same amount of time in one day as you do across like a whole week, the person who studied across a whole week will generally have a better understanding. We'll have better understanding a decent amount of time in the future because they will remember it better. So that stuff's interesting. Learning is an interesting subject. Am I only using Pygame, or am I using other libraries like Arcade? So I'm not using Arcade. I don't think you shouldn't be using Pygame and Arcade together. That's not really a thing. But what I have done for Vagrant, for example, is I've used Pygame with PyOpenGL so that I can use shaders. But for this project specifically, it's just Pygame and then other libraries like sockets for networking. Was the editor created by me? No, it's Adam. Do I have Pygame projects from the past when I was beginning? I can show you my history here. Hold on. So this is my itch.io stuff. I think the oldest thing here is this one. Let's see how old this is. I mean, yeah, this is what my games used to look like. And this is the first time I made a game that I thought was actually kind of fun. So this one was released in 2016. So, yeah, 2016 for that one. And this was after I had been programming for, so I started when I was 12, I started in 2013, so I'd been programming for 3 years when I made this one. And now I'm at 9 years, so this is just like 1/3 of the way through my experience. So I do have other stuff. I think if I do, what would it be under? Where did I put it? It's Game Jolt. Is it one word? No, it's in 2. I used to put games here, and I think I used this before I used itch.io. Oh, I must have... What? I've been on Game Jolt. Yeah, it doesn't even know how long I've been here. I joined before 2018, I thought. Maybe it doesn't go before 2018. Or maybe I put it under a different account. No, it didn't. Okay. I'm trying to find my old game. Where'd they go? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try something else. Let's see if this is still a thing. Aha. Here's my old website with some of my old games. I used to talk like this. I do not talk like that anymore. So here's Artifact Hunter. You can see I actually had it on this website. This was my old website. Well, I had another website under... I also had fluffypotato.github.io, but I think that was taken down. This was my original thing. So here's Icania. I don't see. This got deleted. Or it's private. I have the videos. But this is an older game. I'm curious if I can find. Well, this is actually my first bigger game. It was a sandbox game. And what was this? This was after 2 or 3 years. I can't remember. Let me see if I can find the other website. So there's I had it under webs or something.com. I don't think that's up anymore. CMLC Super Launchers. This is like, I don't know if this is gonna give anything. Oh, it does. Oh. So here are some of my old games. I see a few here. This is why is this? I don't. Okay, I must have just uploaded a bunch of my games on TikSource or pictures of it. So this is Zycania. You saw this one earlier. It was on that other website. This is, what did I call this one? Was that Cave Explorer or something? It was one of the first platformers I made. It had really bad physics. You explored a cave and that was about it. And then this is Derpathon. It's an infinite runner. And then this is the first graphical game I made, kind of. Not the first, but it's the first one I think I released. It's it's like Super Smash Bros, but bad. Let's see. Oh, here's another game I was working on. This is when I first started to get a little bit better at artwork. Some of the stuff in this picture is interesting. Oh, I have like a bunch of screenshots here. Here's another game I had. A bunch of random stuff. This is when I started to get slightly better at artwork. And then this is the latest. Yeah. And the bot is here again. Let me get this. You meant something not published, like very simple games made for learning. Yeah, I have those. Not on this computer. They're on a computer I have in a bookshelf that's like over a decade old. I don't even want to try to get those files, but it's mostly just like, I think the first thing I made was like Agario, except it was, I think I made it before Agario was even a thing. It was like single player Agario. You eat things, you get bigger. But it was just like rectangles instead of circles. Yeah. There's all sorts of random things I did, but like you can very clearly see how it got better. Actually, I think I have a really interesting screenshot on my Discord server. Let me see if I can find this. Where did I put it? I'm looking for something. I found it. Cool. Can I open that in my browser? Cool. Alright. So I have this, which is a screenshot of my projects from different years. And this is what that first game I released initially looked like. It looked really bad. That was 2013. 2014 was this, which later turned into this in 2016. It looks like this is 2015. And then this is where I start getting good at pixel art. You can see there's a jump here. So I had a pixel art game from 2016 that was Artifact Hunter. So this is what my pixel art looked like in 2016, and then 2017 it looked like this. That's, I think, one of the bigger jumps I made, and I also made a pretty big jump from there to here. I guess all of them were pretty big jumps in my pixel art, and then it just started slowing down once I hit this point. So I think like the colors on this aren't very good, but the actual shapes are pretty good. This one, pixel art wise, is actually, I think, worse than these other two. It's just this was where I had all the fancy stuff like the water physics and the leaves blowing and other stuff. So 2020, let me see what actually looked like for me. So 2020 was, what did I recently, was this 2020 or is this 2021? I think this is 2021. So this is what 2021 looked like for me. And then this is 2022, which is what the MMO is based off of. I took the artwork from it because I'm too lazy to draw it again. But this is what my artwork looks like now. That, and then also this. This is a different style though. But yeah, I think I'm starting to level out on my artwork. But I think this is about as good as I'll get, maybe. Like, visually, with this game, this looks the way I wanted it to. Like, I can't think of what would make this look better that I could do in the same amount of time. So I feel like I've almost hit the limits of this art style. I don't know. At least in the way I want it to look. I don't know, maybe I'll find some stuff in the future but like, I'm comparing it to other things I've seen in similar styles. And the things that look better, you need to put more time into, which doesn't work for game jams, so this is for a game jam. But like, yeah, at the moment I'm pretty happy with where my artwork is. It's just that, like, yeah, because of that, I'm more focusing on music. I'd like to, but I need something to make music for. So if I get far enough with this game or any of my other games, I'll start composing music for it. And I have been practicing a fair amount with music as well, but yeah. Added any cool weapons today? Just the revolver, and I'll probably show this one more time before I end the stream. What theme am I using? I don't remember. Alright. So I'm gonna end the stream here. I've been going for almost 2.5 hours, which is a fairly normal stream length for me. I need to eat some lunch, and I actually have classes later today. I actually have a quiz I haven't studied for as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna end the stream here. I'll see you guys later. I'll stream again when my environment permits it, which could be who knows when. I don't know. I didn't know I was gonna be streaming today when I ended the stream yesterday. So we'll see.